Very quickly before we go to our first guest on the programme, and we'll be speaking about a horror movie or horror movies perhaps. And I think when you think about it, firstly, you don't associate Boy with the likes of horror movies. Perhaps you associate it with different things, maybe where to eat, where to go for a walk or something like that. But anyway, we'll be finding out about something called Red Room, the horror movie, in just a little bit. We have another set of family passes to give away to this weekend's Irish Maritime Festival. So we'll have a question for you. The Barefoot Walk. This is a man who's walking over 2,000 kilometres around Ireland. His name is Eamon Keaveney. He'll be with us later. With some interesting news about Vodafone and Andy Hewitt, who is to take part in the Boyne Swim quite shortly. He'll be speaking about his daughter who is currently battling cancer. It's a sad story, and Andy is very kindly agreed to come on and speak to us about that and other things. And if you own an old Volkswagen, be it a car or maybe one of those old camper vans, there's a gathering taking place this coming weekend in Dundalk. We'll find out more about that over the next while. But firstly, Boy. It is to become, or maybe it already has become, the setting for a new horror movie. An independent feature-length horror called Red Room. It's to begin shooting this weekend. It's set to be the final chapter of director Stephen Gaffney's Deep Web trilogy. Have to find out more about that. And I won't say surprisingly, or maybe so, it stars a number of well-known faces, and I think you'll be very, very surprised to hear about some of the people who are actually in it. Stephen Gaffney, the director of Red Room, is with us now. Stephen, hello to you.
Hello.
Now, I'm very surprised to see that you have bagged a fairly impressive collection of well-known people from some very well-known programmes. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Basically what I did was, last year I made a feature for Zero Cash, and that got well received, so I just got in touch with as many people as possible and said they want to make a film with me, and that was it really.
Well, I mean, that wasn't really it, really, at all, because you've Eamon Kelly from Red Rock, there's Brian Fortune and Eddie Jackson from Game of Thrones. How do you get names from Game of Thrones to go to Boy to a ramshackled house to star in a horror movie?
Well, I actually met Eddie Jackson before he was in Game of Thrones, so I sort of caught him out and made him be in the film already. And Brian Fortune, I just got in touch with him and asked him would he be in it, and sent him the script, and he loved the script, and that was it. And same with Amy Kelly. I did a short film with Amy Kelly about 4 years ago, and I just got back in touch with her again, and she loved the script as well.
So much so that she said, I want to be in this.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got funding as well. I mean, this is the first production you've done, I understand, that you've actually managed to source funding for.
Yes, thank God.
Is that bad? Now, I understand as well that you consider this movie, Red Room, to be a sort of an ode, a tribute to the likes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Switchblade, Romance, and the like. Now, I know it is quite gory, so we don't have to go too much into the description of it, but what can you tell us about it at this time of the day?
Basically, all I can say at this time, it's about three women who get kidnapped, and they try to escape. That's all I can go into, really. That's what the whole film, it's like a survival horror film. So.
Okay, so that's all you can tell us. It must be really shocking.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, earlier on in the month, you were hunting for extras. What type of response did you get?
Yeah, we were blown away by that. We got over 5,000 messages in, I think it was 4 days. And we literally didn't have enough time to read them because we started shooting this Saturday, so we're doing other work at the same time. But we got our 2 extras, so if anybody's listening, stop messaging the page please, because we can't read them all. Yeah, we were surprised by that because it was only, I think it was Maid Chronicle newspaper, and we got 5,000 messages straight away, so we're a bit shocked by that. Well, that's good.
Well, I suppose such is the popularity of the previous productions you've done, and we're going to just mention those briefly in a little bit, but I'm wondering, is it a good idea, because I know the location of the house where you're going to shoot, I'm just wondering, is it a good idea to mention the actual house, or just leave it, because you don't want to be swamped in people turning up and going, oh hi, Game of Thrones, I know you, and because that's going to make your life a little bit difficult, isn't it?
Not really, no, because it's actually going to take place in, most of it in the part we're shooting on there is going to take place mostly in one room inside the house, so you can stand outside all you won't see anything.
And they won't be getting in either.
No.
But this is part of the Deep Web trilogy. Tell us about the trilogy.
Basically, the Deep Web is it's not like the normal internet. You have to have a certain browser. It's very hard to explain. So it's the bad part of the internet, basically, that drugs and all that's sold on, and things like that. That's
the part of the internet that the authorities really want to crack, so to speak.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and it's supposedly untraceable. But I can't really go into much detail about that again on daytime radio.
Good. We'd rather you didn't. Can I ask you? I mean, horror is a very specific genre, and I mean, you either love it or you don't. I don't think there's any middle ground. But what is it about the horror genre that interests you?
I'm a horror nut since I was about 7 years of age. So before Sue Films, I actually did want to make a horror. I came with the idea for this about 3 years ago, and I just kept on putting it off because I wanted to make sure that I had enough money. I wanted to be perfect, so I made 2 other films in the meantime and tried to get my name out there and then get funding. So I got the funding for this, and now I'm happy to make it. So that's it, really.
Okay. Are there any particular companies or individuals who you'd like to perhaps name check who have put up funding, or is that something you'd rather not mention?
Well, there's investors. I don't know if they want their names.
I understand. Yes, absolutely. It's not like having sponsors there. It's a different thing. Now, I know you have another movie. It's coming out, I don't know how soon, but it's called Class A. What can you tell us about this? It's a little bit like Love-Hate. What can I say about it? It'd be more of a black comedy than gangster film, but there is a gangster film as well. That's set in Dublin about 2 drug dealers who get blackmailed by guards for money in order to keep on selling, and things go a bit wrong. That's all I can say about that one as well. No, that's okay. That's enough, because it hasn't gone into production yet, so that's okay. It's maybe a little bit vague at the moment. But can I ask you as well? I'm interested to know, Stephen, have you any formal training or experience in well, obviously you have the experience, but training in movie production or doing screenplay or scripting or anything like that, or is this just something that comes naturally to you?
I did 2 years in Ballyfermot College, and I had to drop out because I was getting so much job offers in the 3rd year, so I had to just drop out, and I was doing music videos, getting jobs for short films, doing camera and all that. So I basically nearly have a qualification, but I don't have a qualification because the way I looked at it was there's no point in having a piece of paper that says, yeah, you're a filmmaker, or instead of just going out and making a film. So that's what I did instead.
It's like business people who are rich on money, in money, but haven't got the hard cash in their hands, really. Yeah, that sort of thing. Well, I think you've made a wise choice, because, I mean, if this movie hits the big time and it gets the exposure, which I think it's going to, you may never look back anyhow. So it's going to be happy days all around, isn't it? Yeah.
I won't be looking back either way, to be honest.
You know the old Irish phrase, going forward. That's what it is. Well, listen, Stephen, it's been a pleasure to speak to you and have you on the show, on the programme, and the best of luck with your future career, and certainly best of luck with Red Room. And thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
That's grand. Thank you, mate.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There you go. Stephen Gaffney couldn't say much, so gory is the movie. And there wasn't much he could tell us about the brand new one, Class A, because it hasn't really gone into production, so they're still working on that. So obviously it's a work in progress, so to speak. But that's Stephen Gaffney, director of Red Room, which will begin shooting in Athboy. I'm not going to say which house exactly. It's a dishevelled house. I know that, and he picked it because it's run down and it looks a bit creepy. So obviously he thought it's the ideal location for a horror movie. So the best of luck to him with that gory and suspenseful movie.